Welcome back to the Right Path Real Estate Radio. My name is Ryan. I'm filling in for Tom. He'll be back in studio tomorrow. Build your team Thursday, man. You can't build a team. Yeah, build your team Thursday.
Okay.
We're talking about building your team, but in the lens of shifting focus to shifting mindsets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Implementing proving systems. This is our mission statement, Jerry. I let you read it. This is a new thing we have here at Right Path. And part of that is understanding that, real estate, right, is definitely our vehicle, but we have to understand and shift our mindsets to be able to move forward along those lines. And what we do here at Right Path, and I think we do it pretty well, is shift the fear of investing in real estate. A lot of people want to expose their portfolio, right, to rentals.
Yeah.
And man, you're the guy for that, right?
Yep.
Jerry Top, Property Care, let's put that.
Right.
Good
morning, everybody.
And go ahead. Tell us what you do.
So we manage rental properties, but to Ryan's point, shifting mindsets is the goal. I think when I first got it, I think everyone has this mindset that, hey, I need to do everything.
Yes.
When I was taught to, hey, just try to lease out the house. You put a sign in the front yard.
Put a sign out, yeah.
And spend your Saturdays,
showing the property, over there.
Like one day you'll be fine. And I'm like,
it's so
that's
easy to do.
Yeah,
you
so
put all
easy
the
to do.
information out there,
and I listen.
My favorite was to put it in the green sheet.
Yeah, put in the green sheet. Yeah,
right.
Just with your personal cell phone number.
Yeah,
of course.
put your personal cell phone on the green sheet. That what could go wrong there?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you get 1,000 calls the first day it drops, but
right.
whatever. And I had a shift in mindset. I was like, you know what? I no longer want to spend my Saturdays trying to lease out my property or scheduling appointments with people who really aren't, or has a 1 in 10 chance of actually showing up. So I had this mindset like, I think my time is more valuable spending my personal time with my my loved ones and stuff.
Correct.
And I'd rather go and hire a real estate agent and just lease out all my properties.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to deal with it. I didn't have to figure out how to screen, how to market the property, take the phone calls, schedule appointments. I mean, at the time, I had a full-time job.
Yeah.
I mean, it was either weekends or after work. So I'm like, and I live near downtown. I was working downtown. So, I'm busting my butt all the way out to Katy.
So you bought yourself another job is basically what you did.
Exactly.
Another full-time job.
And, I mean, it was just this frustration when, you schedule all these people, in the business world. When you schedule a meeting with someone, the expectation is that person shows up.
Usually, yeah. Right.
I mean, there's a problem if that person doesn't show up or keep their appointment. And here I am scheduling with 5 people, and not a single person showed up.
Well, there's two pieces in that mindset shift that we're talking about. Is we talk about in the weekend class is, what is your time worth, right? We actually have a homework assignment. When people, after the Saturday, they have to go home and say, what is my time worth, right? What is my hourly? And then over and above that, we're talking about, freeing yourself time-wise to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, right?
Right.
And hiring people who are already 10s at this. We talk about, are you a 10 at this? Most people are not a 10 at property managing, right? No. Yeah.
And the other thing is that, and this is where Right Path comes into play, is that, if you're buying a property where you have to spend all your time and effort in order for it to work,
right?
You're probably not doing it right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone ever signs up for a second job,
yeah.
When they start their investing career.
No.
You shouldn't, and that shouldn't be the plan at all. It should be, I should be able to hire someone to paint this house. I should hire someone to be able to lease out this house and still make a sound investment choice.
Yeah. One thing we're talking about in the market today is that, we're looking at it in multifamily, and I've sold my multifamily because it's really at the tippity top, man, what we feel. And a lot of people come to us, and that's the dream of owning multifamily. That's everyone's investment, and there's a lot of people out there talking about that. However, it's just the market's not here in Houston for that, right? And so we look at what can we do to make single family similar to multifamily, and it's being passive, right? That's the allure, and being scalable, right? And that's why it's so important to have a property management company, right? Because you can't scale something where you're actually having to go out there
exactly
and do it. You don't have enough time. You physically, there's not enough time to do that. Yeah.
And I would say from my own experience, once you get to eight properties, you literally just got yourself another full-time job
right.
at 8 rental properties. I mean, between, the summer and the winters. I mean, summers you're running around finding AC issues and stuff like that. You just brought yourself a full-time job.
Yeah.
If you're trying to manage contractors and stuff, you're going out there trying to find contractors that you can trust because you don't have enough business scale to get a continuous contractor. So you're always finding new ones and making sure they're doing the work correctly.
Absolutely, and we're when we're talking about mitigating the fear and the I guess really just the fear of putting your money into real estate, that's the thing that people think of the first, right? Is that I don't want to get those phone calls. I don't have contractors. I don't know what to do along those lines, right? And they don't have to. And the thing that I tell folks, coming into when should I hire a property manager? It's day one.
Day one.
On
the moment you get
on
first
your very
property.
first property, because in business, if you're going to scale along those lines, you don't want to go back and do that. So, two things we do to mitigate those calls, things like that is we fix the things that need to be fixed on the front end, right, and then we hire a property manager. So if you have a home that you're managing, that everything is fixed, we've inspected all the systems, we've looked at everything, and we've replaced the things that don't have usable life. I mean, how many calls are we getting along those lines?
We're still getting a lot, and we have a lot of out-of-state investors,
sure,
and we're I'm kind of their third-party eyes and ears. So we had a couple properties that was just finished. I go out there and I got a long list.
That's good.
Of stuff that needs to get fixed.
Yeah.
And I like doing that part because if I don't have that list and if a tenant moves in, guess what? I'm going to get the calls one way or the other. Right. So let's just knock it out on the front end.
And that's a service that you're providing for that investor to where they're not having to go walk a property.
We're not the general contractor. We're just making sure the general contractor is being honest and making sure that they're doing all the work.
Another set of eyes to be able to understand what it is they need to be doing on that. And when we're talking about implementing a proven system, that's part of it, right? We had Fast Track in here. Obviously, when they finish a job, you're probably not having as much to do.
Right.
When we're talking to Michelle Rodriguez and understanding what the appraisal of that property and what repairs need to be done to hit those rental rates, to hit those values, right? If we have that process in place and we're using third-party folks who are tens at their respective positions.
Is people you can just trust.
You can trust,
That's the key.
And that absolutely takes all of the headaches out of investing in real estate completely. It mitigates everything.
And this is not to say there's they always say the pendulum swings, right?
Sure.
So it's not as passive as most people think. It's not a passive investment in any way. It can be more passive. It's literally not, I buy a house, I put a tenant in there, and I collect mailbox money. At that point forward, that's not the case at all. But it can be a little bit more passive. It shouldn't be where you're completely hands-on, killing your evenings and weekends. But you can make your life a lot easier,
but definitely,
better.
Obviously, using property management makes it tremendously more passive, right? I mean, that piece of it. And we started talking about the folks who go and they put the signs in the yard, right? And they take the phone calls, they do background checks. You really have to be a tenant, all those, to be able to understand all that. But with property care, they're not having to do that, right? So we're with Jerry Ta, Property Care. This is Right Path Real Estate Radio. I'm Ryan, in for Tom. Tell us a little bit about how you help people from that first property basically mitigate the fear and keep going through that process, right? Because the first property is not going to be the thing that's going to set them off financially free.
Right.
It's, 5, 10, 15, 20 properties.
First off is, we help out on, if the house needs a lot of work. We kind of give our 2 cents. I mean, again, it's scalability, right? So we have our preference of paint. We paint all our houses the same color.
Right.
It's a nice neutral color. It's not red or blue or anything like that. The idea is to scale. And, something that we do different from most is that we use flat paint through most of the house.
Right.
everyone's like, oh, you should paint it semi-gloss.
Just little tips and tricks, right?
Yeah, semi-gloss so you can clean the walls. I'm like, I've never seen a single person get on their hands and knees and scrub the wall.
Clean a wall, yeah, right.
You bring a can of primer and re-roll the wall with the same paint color that been painting before, and you're done.
Yeah.
No one gets on their bucket of soap and water and cleans the walls.
Yeah, Clorox does not make a wall cleaner, does it? No.
And it doesn't clean holes, from nail holes either.
Right, exactly.
So, we help from the front end. A lot of times we have real estate agents that are getting, investors to buy houses and maybe neighborhoods that aren't great,
Sure.
So we kind of advise on like, hey, you're wanting to buy in this neighborhood, there's 20 vacancies right now in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't make sense if you're
a third party helping them through that process,
because
right?
the agent's not looking at that. They're like, they just want to get the sell.
They just want to get the sell, and they may not be an investment type agent as well. They may not be a tenant at that. They're just looking at selling a property. So
yeah.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you coming out. It's always good. It's always good to see you.
Yeah.
Knowing you for so long and seeing
It's
how
been quite a while.
Yeah.